Hey guys, it's Bismoto. Just wanted to do a real quick video on all my bikes here. Kind of maybe like a short review, whatever. But I'm gonna start out with like my favorite bike and work my way around. Um, and I'll tell you why each bike is my favorite and why I rate it that way. Um, my first bike that will be my favorite will be my Z125, just because dependability. This little bike, you guys all know I like my little bikes and I like to ride my little bikes. This bike is dependable and will get me anywhere I gotta go without having to worry about breaking down. And and that's why I like this bike. It's all stock right now. I might do maybe a little changes, maybe get the ECU fleshed and maybe do like a cam or something, uh, just to make it a little faster so it doesn't have so much trouble going uphill. But I really don't want to do too many mods to this bike. I want to leave it stock so it stays dependable. And that's why I like this bike. I mean, you guys can see pretty much the only mod I did to this bike is I put like an orange LED light in there and, stickers. But, a tail tidy. I always put the tail tidy on my bikes usually. Uh, the pumpkin spice sticker. That's all the mods I really did on this one. And that's about, I might go with the Zoom exhaust this year, or maybe next year, I should say. And I may change out the handlebars. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. We'll see what next year brings. But like I said, I kind of want to leave the bike uh, mostly stock to keep it dependable. And that's the main reason why I like this little bike the best is the dependability of it. And it's, of course, a good riding bike, rides smooth. And I know I could take it out and go where I want to go and get home. And that's important to me. Okay, my second favorite bike would be the Bismoto famous ZS190 Honda Grom clone. This is the bike that got me basically into the little bikes. At the time when I bought this bike, I thought I could never afford a Grom. And that is essentially the whole reason why I bought this bike. It started out as a 125 Boom Vader. But I did a lot of upgrades to it. I'll go through them with you guys. Hopefully I don't forget anything. But I did the rear tail tidy like I always do. Put the actual Grom tail light in it. All Honda Grom plastics, Honda Grom seat. Put a Honda Grom rear shock on it. And Honda Grom rear swing arm. Honda Grom brakes, front and rear. Yeah, a lot of this is Honda Grom. Honda Grom rear sets, because the first day I took this out, I hit some gravel and wiped out and broke the stock Vader ones, so I bought brand new Honda Grom rear sets. Obviously put in the ZS190 motor. For a clutch cable on this one, I am actually using, let me see if I'm right. Oh no, yeah. Yeah, on this one for a clutch cable, I'm using, I believe it was a Z125 aftermarket clutch cable I'm using on this one, and it worked fine. I changed the spark plug wire out to a better brand than what it came with. I put this here oil catch can on because everybody knows the ZS190 likes to blow oil. So this one's only doing minimum amount now, not as much as it was when I first bought it. So that's good. It's finally breaking in. Uh, put braided steel brake lines on this, on the front and back. And like I said, Honda Grom brakes on the front. And this bike, you just barely squeeze it, and that's all I get out of the brakes. This is me squeezing as hard as I can. That's as far as it will go. So that made a huge improvement. This bike, if you jammed on the brakes, you'd go flipping over. The oil cooler on this bike. I also put on a Teo Hellcat headlight, replaced the Vader one because the LEDs that they built in stock were going out. So I put this one in, and it was a direct swap, no problem. Worked great. And it looks really good. I think it looks a whole lot better than the Vader headlight. I put the Shiriko, I believe it is, white wall tires on it. All the bolts on it are Honda Grom. I bought like all Honda Grom like stainless steel bolts for it. This bike has the Thailand boomerangs, so I had to buy this little adapter so I could put these cheapo blinkers on it. Those are cheap, just eBay ones, but like I said, I like to be seen, so I put that style on. I also put the phone mount on. I buy these off of eBay all the time. They have a charging port built into it, so that way you don't buy the RAM mount where you got to buy the charging port separate. You got to buy everything separate. This one comes with everything with it, so you could just charge it. Pro taper bars. Put those on. Bar end mirrors. Yeah, and you know, even my rear fender guard here is Honda Grom also. So all the plastics on here are Honda Grom. I replaced every single thing. The tail, you know, the underneath plastic, all the black plastics is all Honda Grom too. I spared no expense and I just did it right the first time, and that way I'm not dinking around with things. But yes, this is my second favorite bike. I like this bike because it's fast. It's pretty dependable. I mean, it's the ZS190 motor, so you always have that little bit of doubt that something's going to go wrong. But so far, it's been really good to me. It did leave me stranded once or twice, and that was like a battery issue I had. You got to remember, when you buy these bikes, you usually should change it over to all LED right away, because the charging system, at least in the ZS190, is not that great, and that's what I think it killed my battery. I drive a lot at night, and it just wiped out the battery like really quick. So my number 2 bike, the ZS190, and these grips, I gotta say, I bought these off of Wish.com. I love these grips. These are so much better than the Pro Taper grips, in my opinion. They're more durable, they last longer, and they feel so comfortable when you're riding, even with the gloves on or without gloves. This is the only bike I like to ride without gloves. Otherwise, I always have to wear gloves. It drives me nuts. But you guys could also see I put the Honda Grom, I don't know what they call those things, the clamps for the bars or whatever. And I put the little Honda little emblem on there. So, kind of funny. But everybody thinks it's a Grom until you tell them it's not. So, okay, so that's it for that one. Okay, now my third favorite bike will be this one. When I bought it stock form, it was good. It was dependable. I think it would have been great. But I decided to put the ZS190 in it. And the ZS190 in this bike kind of shakes it apart. The worst problem I had was with the wiring. What I had to do is I had to remove the gas tank in here and pull the gas tank out and go through all the wiring, because all the wiring in there has like butt connectors on there and stuff. So they came unplugged and it was giving me shorts in the bike. So what I had to do is put shrink tubing over all the butt connectors, and that way they can't pull apart, and that stopped my shorting out problem. So that's something I highly recommend doing. It'll save you a lot of problems down the road and a lot of mystery of what the hell's going on with your bike. But yeah, that took care of that. This bike ran awesome. It went way over 80 miles an hour. This one did. I don't know why, but it was super fast actually. You know, I basically all I did on this one is I put on the 12-inch Bullock rims I got from David Bullock on Facebook. He's on like the ZS190 forums, the CT modder groups. You go on there, get a hold of him, and you can order these parts that I'm going to show you. You can order the motor from him. You can order the rims. And yeah, I put the 12-inch tires and rims on it. Running Continental zippy tires on it. And they seem to be really nice tires. I like them a lot, actually. I mounted the front one backwards, but whatever. You're supposed to reverse it for the front. And I put it on the wrong way, but it rides fine, and I'm just going to leave it. The reverse reasoning is for when it rains, it's supposed to swipe the rain away better, I guess. But I usually try to stay away from riding in rain, so I'll be okay. But yeah, I did the tires and rims. Put stainless steel brake lines on it again. That made these brakes work great. Not as good as the Honda Grom ones, of course, because they're only a single piston, but they work good enough to stop the bike at doing over 80 miles an hour. So, uh, these bikes, I got to tell you, this is a factory Z125 Kawasaki cable again. This is actually a factory one though, and it works perfect. It bends down, makes the cable go perfect right to the clutch, and it's perfect. It works good. Um, David Bullock exhaust I put on it, perfect again. Really loud, but so is the ZS190. The muffler I put under now is a little bit more quieter, but it also took away a lot of the top speed. So you pay the price for restricting the exhaust. May open it up again next year by like a SC clone muffler from Wish. That'll probably work great. Or even AliExpress. I noticed AliExpress, their shipping is slow as shit, so I may be trying to get away from them. But yeah. But yeah, my only mods is, like I said, I did exhaust, I did the tires and rims. The rear shocks are RFYs. A lot of people are running those on these bikes. The rear rack comes in really handy. Hauled a gas can on it. Perfect, because these gas tanks are so small. It'll help you out, get a little farther. You ain't got to worry about running out of gas. So recommend putting a gas can on there if you plan on a long ride. Bought the taillight bracket from Trail Buddy. You look it up on their website. Yeah, not much other mods on here. Pretty much the frame, the fork on the front is all stock. I have no problems with the front forks. Works good. Even the stock ones, I noticed, the front wheel is off just a tad to one side. And everybody complains about that on these bikes. But you know what? It works. I don't have a problem. I did over 80 miles an hour. No problems. I put the front fender up, use those little spacers. You get those spacers from True Value, Ace Hardware, whatever. Just bring the bolts with you that will fit in here, and just get longer ones, you know, for the one that hold down this clamp. Just go there, get longer ones, and I put like nylock nuts on there so they won't come loose. Again, another phone mount. Not wired in yet, but it's there. Next time I pull the gas tank, I'll wire it probably. I don't really want to mess with it right now. Another problem I have with this bike is the rear tail light. I had an LED bulb in there. The bike shook it apart into pieces. There was literally pieces of the bulb laying in the housing. So that didn't work out well. So I put a regular bulb in it, and it keeps blowing them out all the time. Even though I buy like the high dollar brand name, you know, regular bulbs, they still keep blowing out. So I think it's just because this bike shakes so much. So I'm looking for a good taillight bulb. If you guys have any recommendations, post a link down below. Something where there's not a lot of pieces to it, I guess, because this thing will rattle it right apart if there is a lot. But yeah, this thing's been pretty flawless with the ZS190, except the carburetor I got on this is kind of crappy. It doesn't have the adjustable needle where you could change the C-clip, you know, up or down. So I ordered a flat side carb, and I'm going to try that. Right now, the carburetor is plugged with something, and I don't feel like messing with it right now. It just probably needs to be blown out, and this bike will be running again, but I'm going to wait till I get the new carburetor and do that. But otherwise, the motor's been flawless. Shifts really well, surprisingly. A lot better than this motor. This motor has a kind of a little bit more weirder shifting, a lot more harder to shift. This one shifts a lot more easier. But yeah, you know, I'm running stock swing arm, put a niche chain on it. Looks like it's nickel plated. Instead of being gold, it's silver. And that's all I really did with this bike. Didn't do too much. Pretty much all stock except for the motor and the wheels and tires. So yeah, this is my third favorite bike. Okay. So now we will move on to my third favorite. Now my third favorite. This is the new bike I just bought, my GSX 750. I got a pretty good deal on this bike, I think. But anyway, the thing I don't like about this bike is the weight. This bike is heavy. It's like 360, 340 pounds, or no, actually 460 or 630 pounds, somewhere around there. And the problem I have with this bike is having to push it from this shed off that little ramp all the way across the yard. It's just a pain in the ass. Yeah, and that's like one of the main reasons why I don't like this bike. And it's also like unnecessarily fast. I mean, I don't really need it. Like I keep telling you guys, I don't need a bike that could do 100 and some miles an hour. This bike just caused me nothing but problems, you know, with tickets and whatever. And that's kind of another reason why I don't like this bike, because it's too easy, and the people I ride with like to go kind of fast, and I'm not a corner person. I don't like flying into corners. I'm not good at it, and I really don't have a will to get good at it, because I just don't like doing it. You never know if there's going to be gravel, and you wipe out, you know how bad it's going to hurt. I mean, have your own opinion what you think, but wiping out on a motorcycle will definitely suck, and it's not something I want to do. The exhaust on this, it's nice, but it's super loud. It starts hurting your ears after a while. All it is basically is an exhaust tip with a baffle. I mean, that's all it is. It sounds really good. It sounds like a race car. It's kind of cool, but yeah, it's super loud. Well, I might go back to stock eventually. I don't know. I'll have to see how my hearing does when I start doing a little bit more longer rides. But I'm not saying this is a bad bike at all. It's an awesome bike. I mean, you get a lot of bike for your money. That's for sure. Like I said, it's super fast. I might bring this in and get it tuned. My friend told me it's like $200 to get it tuned, dyno tuned, and I might do that just to make it run better, you know, more low end torque. But I'm not worried about top speed, but I would like a little bit more low end torque. The only thing I really did with this bike is, like I said, I did another tail tidy, of course. The exhaust, I did the exhaust. I've been thinking about taking off the rear foot pegs. Been thinking about it, but not 100% sure yet. Put the bar end mirrors on. I might have to change that up, because these things will hit. The brakes will hit the mirror every so often, I should say. You know, the clutch and the brake lever. The brake lever, or actually the clutch lever, is the one that hits the most. Not very often, but every once in a while I'll bump it, put little scrapes on it. But I got paint that touches up perfect, and you can't even tell it ever happened. But yeah, I put these mirrors on, and I like them a lot. They look nice. They do the job. Bought the little plugs for the mirrors off of eBay. Loctited those in so they don't come out. I will be putting a phone mount on here probably eventually. I would like to find something that mounts in the middle though. So if you guys know of a link where I could get something that'll mount in the middle for a phone mount, let me know. I would like to do something different with this one for this bike with a phone mount. You know, even if it mounts up here, like flush with this, that'd be great. So if you guys know of a phone mount like that, let me know. And you know, I put on the the fake Poogie windshield. Works good. You know, notice it at the higher speeds, not really so much the lower speeds, but yeah, I made the video on how to install that. I made my own tank protectors for this. I just bought clear vinyl, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a line like right here. You can just barely see it, and it's clear, and you could hardly even tell it's there. I did it here on the top, and I did some on the sides here too, just to stop the tank from getting beat up. Might make some more that go up here too eventually. We'll see. Maybe even one for the front fender and for the headlight, because those are like the more common places that get hit and chipped or whatever. But yeah, guys, I say this is my least favorite bike, but it's not because of the bike. It's because of having to push it across the yard. It honestly really sucks. I got like a shoulder neck injury. Well, not really an injury, but I have degenerating discs in my neck, and it messes up with my shoulder. And every time I push this out of the yard, by the time I get done, it hurts like hell, and I hardly even want to ride anymore. So, and that's the whole reason for that. This bike, I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not. I may sell it this year. I'm kind of thinking about it just because of those facts. I might just give up the whole big bike thing. I should have kept a 300F because that bike was light. It was just slightly more heavier than the Honda Grom. I think it was like 300 and some pounds. And it was a lot easier to push across the yard, where this bike is like pushing a tank across the yard. But I gotta say that bike is fun though. It's fast and it's dependable. So I mean, if I wanted to rank the bikes in dependability, it would be this one first. Would be my favorite, and then that would be my second favorite for dependability, and then it'd be like my Grom clone and my CT70 clone, Ice Bear Champion. That's the way how it would go if it was in reliability terms. But the Ice Bear Champion, don't get me wrong, it's a good bike. I love it a lot. A lot of people are buying them. They're really popular right now. And you get a lot of bike for the money. You really do, honestly. But yeah, the GSX 750, it's a blast to ride once you get it out and you're actually riding it. But it defeats the purpose for me because, like I said, I don't like to go fast in corners. I don't mind going fast on straightaways. But corners, I think I got a little bit of a thing in my head of hitting gravel. There's a lot of that around here in Wisconsin. And it's just something that I just don't like to think about. Because I wiped out on the little Grom clone, and I was only doing like 5 miles an hour. And that hurt like hell. And I didn't really get hurt, but it hurt for a while after I fell, of course. But yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine falling on a bike that weighs 460 pounds. That would just be crap. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice bike. I'll go over some of this stuff with you. It has like the adjustable lever stock from the factory. Adjustable front forks. You could just adjust a preload on it, I believe it is. That's all that, but they're KYB, I believe it is, front shocks and rear shock. It comes with good brakes. The brakes are really strong. Single piston in the rear, Nissan or whatever you want to pronounce it. And I forgot the name of the mount like this, where they mount the brakes mount like this instead of on like pins. But yeah, there's a name for it. I can't remember it right offhand. I did know it. Now I just forgot it. But yeah, it's dual each side. And these brakes, you buy the 1200 version of this bike, or the 1000cc version of this bike, you get the Brembo brakes. But I honestly don't think you would even need them, because these brakes right here will stop you pretty quick. But yeah, guys, this is my review of all my bikes and what I think of what's my, top 4 of what numbers I think they would be in my opinion. Tell me what you guys think. Yeah, I mean, so now you guys know what my ranking is on these bikes and why. And I don't know, guys, tell me what you guys think. What would be your rating on each one? I had a poll up. I believe the poll was CT70 was coming in first. Grom clone was coming in second. The Z125 coming in third. And the GSX had 0 votes so far that I've seen. So, you guys seem to like the Chinese bikes better than the name brand bikes. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, I kind of agree, though. I have a lot of fun building these bikes. A lot more people could afford them. It makes sense, But anyways, guys, buy a bike you could afford and just get out and ride it. Have fun. If people don't like what you're riding, tough shit for them. Just enjoy what you got and have fun riding and just enjoy yourself. just think it's your bike, you know. You could do it, make it into what you want it to be. But anyways, guys, this is Bismoto, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.